Ich hoffe, für alle im Publikum ist das in Ordnung, wenn ich den Vortrag auf Englisch halte. Ja, nicken, ja, sehr gut. Yeah, I'm Rosa. Thanks for the introduction, Sebastian. And I'm running the Smart View, which is an English-speaking mobile photography magazine. And that's why I'm holding this presentation on English, as most of the community is international, and we are also on Instagram Live, so everybody can understand me also afterwards. And today I would like to present you my project, which I actually founded 2015 as part of my bachelor thesis at the University of Fine Arts in Hamburg. And I came up with this idea on researching on mobile photography because I got my first smartphone myself. And I studied photography back then, and I discovered this camera on my phone, and I actually didn't know what that all was about. Is it a camera or is it a phone? Is it supposed to take pictures or just to send WhatsApp messages in visual form? So I started actually researching theoretically but also visually on what the Smart View or the smartphone changed in photography. So what the outcome of the smartphone itself kind of changed, or how photography evolved with the outcome of this device. And I found it very interesting. So I started taking pictures myself with a smartphone, but I also discovered that there is some people out there that are doing the same as me, and that they are actually also already better than me. And I started to feature some people on a Tumblr blog back then, and very simple. Just wanted to show these photographs because back then at my university was a very harsh discussion if mobile photography is ever going to be part of the arts. So I actually wanted to show them that there is people out there just using their phone as a normal camera, and the pictures, so the outcome of this device is very decent, so very art, let's say, and it deserves a attention and also, let's say, a position, a notation, let's say, in the art scene. And then I had this idea, okay, what I'm going to do for my bachelor thesis, and I actually came up with the idea of a magazine because I wanted to do something that also gives me something to work after my study. So actually kind of entrepreneurial thought. And I wanted to mix not only the positions of the photographers, but I also found some researchers that were researching on mobile photography and the usage of mobile phones at that point in time, which I found very interesting because what we learned back in university was mostly the theories of Roland Barthes and Willem Flusser and all these traditional theorists, which I found quite boring. And it had nothing contemporary and nothing really forward-thinking. So I decided to combine these two positions, the theory and the artist position, into a magazine, which then came out. Let me just show you that copy. It's actually really handsome magazine with pictures and texts, featuring 15 portfolio sections of 15 artists. They're shooting on mobile phone and some researchers writing on mobile photography. I released 2 copies of this magazine, but with the ongoing of the time, let's say, I figured that especially in the independent publishing, it's quite hard to release such a 160-page magazine, especially if you're self-financing everything. And I actually within time, I switched concept a little bit. And that's what my presentation will be about. So the title of this presentation is From Hashtag to Magazine, and this is actually kind of what my work nowadays focuses on. Because as I already said, I started out with a Tumblr blog. I actually didn't even have an Instagram account back then. At one point I did though, so I created one for the magazine, and I started discovering a lot of talents on Instagram, and it became sure at one point that the heart of the magazine beats on Instagram, that this is really the core of my work also as an editor. Here you can see the account. So today we have almost 10,000 people, organically grown, because as I already said, self-finance, I don't do any advertising or stuff like that. On this account you can see our features. So we discover people on Instagram from around the world that shoot on their mobile phones, and we feature them on the account in diverse ways. I will present some of these ways to you. I will also tell you how you can submit to the magazine, because it's open to everybody that has a mobile phone and that desires to take pictures. And I will also show you our recent print copies, which actually kind of changed concept, because it's not a magazine in that kind of sense anymore. It became a photozine. I hope everybody of you knows what a photozine is. There is no text anymore. Somehow the theoretical, the academics vanished, and photography became more important in my work. I will show these issues to you afterwards, and will explain you how these actually come together. First of all, let me tell you how to submit to the magazine. It's actually quite easy. You need an Instagram account, of course. You need to follow the Smart View on Instagram. And to submit to our online features, the only thing you need to do actually is integrate the hashtag the Smart View in your post captions. I preferably say, please select your images, but I know that my community, at one point you just start tagging every image, because maybe you know that you always have your specific hashtag group. So I actually see all the images of the people, and my work, daily workload, is actually to screen this hashtag and select images from there for all various features that we have on the Smart View. We also, besides this general hashtags, we have special call for entries running, especially in order to get into one of these print editions. I mostly come up with a new hashtag to submit to. So in order to get the news, it's always good to subscribe to the newsletter and follow the Smart View, so you get the news and know how to submit. And of course, the images have to be shot on mobile. And there's some don'ts, because they have a little bit to do how Instagram is working. For example, I don't feature any album posts, because it just doesn't look nice on stories, because you always see the numbers. And I don't share video posts, because I only share images on the account. I don't like watermarks. I think this is something I should say more often within the community, that I don't accept any images with watermarks, for example. And let's say HDR images and an overuse of filters is not really my category of choice. So there you already know in which direction we are going to. Currently, in the general hashtag, you will find 250K posts, 250,000 posts. That is a lot of stuff. I can't say that I saw every image, but I tried to see almost every image. So my daily workload is screening the hashtag, and I have to do this on a daily basis. Otherwise, I really get lost in the image flood, let's say. And I do like every image because this is also a confirmation for me that I have seen the image before when I already have liked it. And of course, it's a confirmation for the community if they get a like from the Smart View that, the post has been seen. Now that the video is starting, you can see a bit how the hashtag curation, that's what I call, is working. So this is something that became pretty important in my work throughout the years, is this hashtag curation. So today my work is really based on hashtags. Strangely, I don't know how that became like that, but here you can see actually how I'm going through the hashtag and liking the submissions, and if I see a picture that I feel should be featured, I will save it into a collection, and then I work from this collection, making another selection for the various features that we have on the Smart View account. One of these features could be, for example, a story feature, where I put up a selection of 10 artists from the hashtag into the stories. This is almost on a daily basis. Lately, I've been a bit busy. I try to do this feature on a daily basis, so 10 people definitely get the chance to be featured day by day, let's say. And of course, it's also very interesting for the community to see these features, because you can get inspired by what other people do. I get a lot of reactions on the images. And you also see, you can always go to the accounts of the people, follow them, and see what else they are doing on Instagram. This is also, besides the story feature, a regular feature that is coming up. It's called the TSV Wednesday feature. If you go on the tagged section of the Instagram account of the Smart View, you will see an overview of all TSV Wednesday features. And it's actually a album feature on the account featuring 10 artists that have been selected from the collection I saved, let's say. So you have to imagine you have a hashtag first. The first step is you might get to be featured in a story, and then the second step, you might be featured in a group feature, and then it goes on and on. There will be other features coming depending on how interesting your work is. So I sometimes call myself a human filter, fighting the algorithm. As I select the images on my own, and then step by step reducing until it might come out in a magazine like this or in a photozine like this. Besides having this account on Instagram, we also do run a online blog where we interview artists. This blog is hosted on Medium. I don't know if you know Medium. It's an independent publisher platform where you can publish articles about actually everything you desire to write about. And we have our publication there where we actually interview mobile photographers from around the world, and we also have some kind of special features running. Now during the lockdown, for example, we had some lockdown features asking the people how they were coping also artistically with the lockdown. And then we have some features focusing also on specific regions, for example, Ethiopia or South Italy. And I hope there's many, many more features coming up. We are actually trying to get more content on there, but yeah, as you might know, it's self-financed, so it needs some time. Last year we had a lot of time left over in 2020. We were not going to any fairs, any events, any workshops or conferences. So we actually tried or came up with some new features. And yeah, I mean, you might have seen it on other accounts too. Everybody was going live on Instagram. And we actually tried this format too. So we did a T-Talk before. This is how this feature is called. And this T-Talk back then was just on Instagram stories. And we actually did it the first time here in Vienna with an artist called Ramona Kandinger in 2019, so before COVID era. And we just picked up this feature to become an Instagram live talk instead. Because the idea behind T-Talks was actually going into the studios of the artists and talking about their works and seeing maybe some works that they have, their physical works and where they work, and just have a chat with them with a tea. That was the original idea behind it, but yeah, as COVID didn't permit us to meet personally, we just moved it online, and now we're having these features on Instagram Live. We have, for every photozine that we are publishing, we have a special call for entries. So the one that you see here right now is the one for the upcoming issue, which has the theme Hunting Shadows. So actually every zine that we publish has a specific theme, as we also want to encourage the photographers to think about their selection of work, first of all, to not submit every image that they have, like they can do on the general hashtag. No, here they should follow a specific theme and try to select and also reduce their selection to a specific amount of images that follow this theme in that case. And for every of these call for entries, we are coming up with a new hashtag, so we can also sort out the submissions from the general one, otherwise it's getting confusing. And in this case, it was just TSV_Hunting Shadows. And the total result of the call was 1,725 posts in this case, but we are usually having between 1,500 and 2,500 submissions per zine. And I did a little online feature afterwards with a selection of images, so you can already see what the mood of the upcoming issue will look like. So there you can also see that the theme is not interpreted directly, let's say, because I want the photographers to think beyond the word of the title. Let's say, I mean, with Hunting Shadows, you could come up with a lot of pictures with shadows, or in the case of our first scene, Self-Reflections, you could come up with a lot of images, selfies in the mirror, your shadow selfie, but this is not really thinking beyond of what the word means. So I always try to push the photographers a little further than what they normally do, because I also know that most of the people in the community are amateur photographers or self-taught. They don't have a university education where they learn how to set up series or projects or work about specific themes they are interested in. So I try to kind of get them into the direction to work on a on a theme and think beyond what this can be, to train in interpretation, let's say. And besides this pushing people further, we also try to support our community, the community which consists mainly on emerging photographers to thrive in the art career. This is also something that came up during the COVID time, because we saw that a lot of people lost work. They maybe just had their photography left over because their money-making jobs kind of cancelled. And we tried to support the community with this community resource page, where we also offer workshops, portfolio reviews, artist management, so for people who need advice, consultation. You can also get to know how to submit to all the other kinds of things. And we try to give an overview of what we can offer to the photographers. It's still a bit in progress, let's say, because we created this page end of last year, so we're still working on implementing new things. We also put focus last year on teaching photographers how to sell their art online, for example, so they can kind of earn an income during the crisis with doing their art. So we actually taught them how to set up an online store and how to integrate with a print-on-demand platform, which also granted them the opportunity to not have to invest money upfront for production. Because if you're already in a poor situation, you don't want to spend a lot of money on printing or production of your art. So this is still in progress, still expanding, and I hope we can do a lot of more workshops and stuff, educational stuff in the future. And now I want to have a look a bit into the zines. You can also have a look onto the printed versions after the presentation. I would ask you to do so, because I really pay attention to printing quality and paper. So every of these zines are printed offset, even though they are a limited edition of 250. But my Berlin printer is so nice that he allows us to print anyway on the offset machines. I pay a lot of attention to printing quality and paper because, as you might guess, it's still a bit a problem of mobile photography that people think, oh, it's low quality, isn't even printable. I mean, back then in 2015, when I founded the magazine, this was a real question. Today, the cameras evolved and are really good, and there's not really so much difference anymore, maybe in the file size that you have in the end. And of course, digital reflex cameras are kind of higher quality and kind of with the lens, but still, mobile phones became quite competitive to the digital camera. So that's why I pay a lot of attention to quality. And here you can also see the hashtag we used. So I think now it becomes a bit clear why it's also called TSV_zine, because every hashtag will feature the title of the zine and with an underscore. And in this case was TSV_self-reflections. I would just lead you a bit through the zine here. As I already said, we didn't want it to receive or feature a lot of mirror selfies or selfies in the traditional Instagram way or style in general, because we see loads of these images already in the internet, and it's not really self-reflection, okay? Self-reflecting yourself in the mirror is physical kind of self-reflection, but it's not what it means to self-reflect on something. So I tried to find images that that show this progress of you have to think through something and it's kind of hard sometimes and you have to fight a little battle with yourself and these kind of things. Botanic Vibes instead is a bit more leisure theme, because this was on all things botanic, let's say, and I wanted to create like kind of a vibe of how we are in the jungle and there's a lot of nature growing from everywhere, from every corner, but still the human is somewhere in there, so plays its role. And we collected a lot of really great images for this issue, and people just love it because I mean you can imagine that botanic stuff is really famous also on Instagram. Like people love these things. And this is the latest issue. We had a little pause, like almost everybody in 2020 took a little pause from everything or was just releasing content online. We've been working on the third edition, and we took a little bit more time than usual to release. We released in March this year, and actually it was the first time I couldn't go to the printer. I usually always go to the printer when they run the first papers through the machine so I can check on everything. But it was not possible this time because I couldn't travel, and I also couldn't see the zine myself when it came out because it was delivered to Germany and I was stuck in France. So actually it already went out to the readers before I even got it in my hands, which was a really strange feeling for an independent publisher. Anyway, this feature is called Spotlight On, and it's a bit different from the other zines because there was an open call, but we also chose a lot of people ourselves because this zine is about the best mobile photographers out there. So we did a selection of the 25 best from the community, and there were also some who didn't know that they were selected. So surprise, you got selected for our zine because we think your work is great. And there was also 5 people in there that got selected for the PH Museum Mobile Photography Prize. And we did a little collaboration with them, so they are also featured in this issue here. So a lot of great photographers. On the back in the zines, on the last page, you can always see an index page with the names of the people, the Instagram handles, and you can also see where the people come from, because it's sometimes very interesting to see that they're coming from all over the world, from Ghana, Ivory Coast, to Taiwan, to Guatemala, to Europe, US. So this is actually what I really like about Instagram, because you can discover people from all around the world, people you would not have met in an exhibition or art event in your area, let's say. And you can also find people that are maybe not a photographer yet, but you can actually support them to become one. And this is part of my mission to support emerging photographers to see that they have a talent and that they should use their camera to visualize their ideas more often. This will be our newest call for entry, so I thought I would just do a sneak peek with you, because this one is starting on Monday, and it's actually a collaboration with a Austrian independent magazine from Innsbruck. So we're also doing collaborations with other magazines and also institutions where we come up with call for entries and specific hashtags, and we collect works to either be featured in museums or, in this case, from the hashtag of this call for entries, one work will be featured to be selected to be featured in the next Und edition from Innsbruck. I hope this video runs, yeah. So actually the theme is at home. The hashtag will be hashtag TSVX und underscore at home. And yeah, the call is to find images that reflect on what home means to us, or being at home. Is it a space? Is it a feeling? Is it a place? Maybe it's not a house. It could be a place, or it could be different places even where you feel home or where you say you belong. Yeah. So we are looking for images that reflect, what home means to our community, and I'm looking forward who's gonna be featured in the next issue of Und magazine. Yeah, actually that's already it about that. I showed you how everything started, kind of how I'm working, like what's that all about, the hashtags, there's a lot of hashtags I'm dealing with, and what actually is the final product. And yeah, maybe you can just come here to the table and have a flip in the pages to see the photos yourself. And I would also like to answer your questions, if there is any. Ja. Ja, definitiv. Also mein Auge wurde zwar schon etwas in der Uni geschult, aber da ging es ja mehr darum, Arbeiten auszuwählen. Was weiß ich, man hatte 50 Fotos und dann ist man auf 20 runtergegangen oder 10, darum ging es ja da nur. Aber dadurch, dass ich so viel mit den Hashtags gearbeitet und auch mit so viel Masse an Bildmaterial. Also allein schon für diese Ausgabe hier hatten wir 7.500 Beiträge. Das hat mich so 2,5 Wochen gebraucht damals. Mittlerweile schaue ich mir 500 Bilder in einer Stunde an. Das mache ich dann immer morgens mit einem Kaffee in der Hand. So. Ja. Die Ideen für die Zines ist eine recht lustige Geschichte, würde ich nicht sagen, aber die Titel für die Zines haben wir schon ausgearbeitet bis zum 100. Titel. Also es gibt ein Dokument mit der Liste aller Titel der nachfolgenden Zines. Das haben wir uns mal ausgedacht. Ich und eine Praktikantin zusammen haben wir diese Liste erstellt und jetzt muss ich eigentlich nur noch abarbeiten. Und ja, die Themen, die sollen halt inspirieren, aber auch nicht zu direkt sein. Ne? Also immer noch Platz für Inspiration offen halten und Interpretation. Ja. Du hattest eine Frage.
Woran erkennst du, dass das wirklich Handy-Fotos sind? Also ich weiß nicht, wie wichtig das dann am Ende ist, aber irgendwie scheint es doch ein sehr alleinstellendes Phänomen zu sein.
Ja, das ist eine Frage, die ich öfter gestellt bekomme und hat ja auch einen Grund. Ne? Also kann mich ja nicht Mobilfotografie-Magazin nennen, wenn dann ich nur Canon-Fotos poste oder so. Auf Instagram ist es leider etwas schwierig, das genau zu erkennen, aber es gibt Methoden. Also du kannst das erkennen daran, welche Hashtags zum Beispiel benutzt werden von der Person, die das postet, weil viele schreiben dann drunter Shot on iPhone 11 Pro, Shot on Huawei 20 Pro, P20 Pro oder sowas. Wenn sie das nicht machen, kannst du gegenteilig erkennen, wenn zum Beispiel jemand Fujifilm taggt oder andere große Kamerahersteller, da kann man das auch so ein bisschen verstehen. Aber man muss auch verstehen, dass Hashtags in der Instagram-Welt auch manchmal einfach so weitergereicht werden. Ne? Also da denken die Leute, auch wenn ich den Hashtag benutze, dann bekomme ich mehr Likes. Also packe ich den auch noch mit in meine Liste. Und dann wird nicht so ganz drauf geachtet, was bedeutet dieser Hashtag eigentlich. Sagt der da noch das Gleiche über mein Bild aus, ne, was das Bild eigentlich ist oder darstellen soll. So. Das Gleiche passiert auch manchmal mit so, wie in meinem Fall Submission-Hashtags. Es gibt ja auch noch andere Magazine, die zum Beispiel Hashtags haben, wo man dann beitragen kann. Die werden auch oft einfach weitergeleitet, so in der Community. Die Leute fangen an, diese Hashtags zu benutzen, ohne darüber nachzudenken, wo kommt der Hashtag überhaupt her, wo trage ich überhaupt da bei, bin ich überhaupt im Thema, so, ne? Genau. Und ansonsten für das Magazin selber fordere ich ja dann die Originaldaten an und wenn es dann darum geht, wirklich strikt darauf zu achten, dass das auf dem Smartphone fotografiert ist, muss man dann in die Metadaten reingehen und da siehst du dann genau, okay, das wurde mit einem iPhone geschossen, mit einem Samsung, das steht da alles drin meistens. Wenn es nicht drin steht, frage ich dann beim Künstler nach. Das kann passieren, wenn die zum Beispiel dann irgendwelche Bearbeitungs-Apps benutzen oder vielleicht doch mal das Handybild noch auf den Computer laden und mit Photoshop bearbeiten, dann gehen manchmal so Metadaten verloren. Ja. Also wir hatten zum Beispiel für das Spotlight On Issue auch einige Künstler, die dann rausgefallen sind, weil sie sozusagen durch den Datentest gefallen sind. Ja.